Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to Card Making Project 539. Now it's Friday today, so that means it's Christmas. And today's card we're going to use our Anna Griffin supplies to make a gorgeous Christmas card. Now it's not a traditional card and we're going to be using the Snow Globe die set, which for us in the UK is new and well, it is across the pond as well. So hopefully it's going to give you ideas of what you can do with the set. Now this card, as I said, it's not traditional and it is very different and it's beautiful. It's definitely a mantelpiece pleaser and it will be a keepsake as well forever. Please check the blog for everything that I have used, and there'll be a detailed list on there of the extra items that I've used as well, because there is a few for this one. So check that out, and there's also lots of photos of this project because it really warrants those extra photos. Because as I go through the project, you'll see what I mean. It's just a beauty, is this one. So don't forget, you can always contact me on Facebook, you can always find me on Twitter or on Instagram. Let me know what you think, send me a message, say hello, show me what you've made. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up. I always forget to ask you to do that. If you've enjoyed a project, please give me the thumbs up and please share with your crafty friends, because that's what it's all about. So without further ado, sit back, relax and have a look at today's gorgeous project. For this card we're going to be using the Anna Griffin 39 Christmas clear rubber stamps. Now these are an older item, so you might have newer items that you want to substitute this for. We're going to be using some of the snowflake stamps. We're going to be using small stamps, the snowflakes, and we're going to be using the Joy and Good Cheer stamp, the Happy Christmas stamp, the large snowflake stamp, and the cluster of snowflakes. We're also going to be using the confetti dies of the stars, and then, woohoo, we're going to be using the Snow Globe die set from Anna Griffin. Now, I've got to say, I'm looking forward to making this card because it's not traditional. It's not our traditional Anna Griffin style, it's something completely different. But those are the Anna Griffin products that we're going to use to make it. Now, there's a few how-tos throughout this card, so I hope you enjoy it, with it being a little bit different. Our base card is an 8x8 inch card. If you have trouble with this size, you can't get hold of it, just scale down. Scale down to a 6x6 and scale down what you put on the front of the card, or use a 7x5 card. For my friends across the pond, I know the postage for the 8x8s and the square cards is completely different. However, I think this, with it being exceptional, it warrants the largest size card. The first thing I'm going to do is use my bone folder to make sure I've got a good sharp score along the edge of the card. So I'm just running the bone folder along the edge, and that will make it nice and professional looking when it stands on the mantelpiece. And believe me, this one really needs to stand on the mantelpiece. Use your handmade stamp on the back. Add your name, then the person that's receiving it will know who sent it to them. Now, as always, we're going to start with the inside of our card. None of this is traditional, so just go with me and watch till the end, and then there might be segments of it that you think, I can do that. There might be elements of it that you want to add to your own card making. You can do that, or you might just think, you know what, I want to make all of it. So just go with the flow. Now, the first thing I've done is cut a piece of white cardstock, because this is white and black. Obviously Anna is normally ivory, but we're going very different for this. It just sang to me when I got this die set to do this first with it. I've taken a piece of white cardstock, I've cut it to about 1/2 inch smaller than the actual card, just to give it a 1/4 inch border around the edge. I've stamped using the Snowflake Cluster stamp with a black permanent ink just in 2 corners of the card, and then using the circle die from the Snow Globe set, I've cut a circle out of the middle. I've left the 2 corners unstamped for now, and I'm going to add this to the inside of our card. And I've got double-sided tape on the back, so I'm just going to peel that away. And for any eagle-eyed viewers, I do have a little arrow telling me which way up I should put it in. It's just when I prep, I might have prepped this a couple of weeks ago and I have to remember what to do with it. So, and my brain is really fuzzy at the best of times. So we're going to pop that down to the inside of our card, press it down, and then the 2 corners that are not stamped, I've cut black card that's going to fit, and when I actually cut the card, I put it through the die cutting machine with the circle so that I knew the 2 corners would fit in exactly the same place. Now on the black cardstock, I've used the Snowflake stamp from the 39 clear Christmas stamps, and I've used white ink and embossing powder to emboss them. I'm going to do the same for the second corner and add that. There we go. And that's the base of our inside. Now for the centre, the circle that I cut out, I'm going to pop back in. And this is just the plain white card that I didn't stamp on. And I'm going to just pop that back in to the aperture that's there and press it down. Now at this point you can either leave it blank so that you've got lots of room to write on and have no sentiment, or you can add a sentiment. I'm going to add a sentiment, and the sentiment I've used is Happy Christmas from the stamps that we looked at the beginning, the clear Christmas 39 stamps, and I've just used a black ink pad, so I'm just going to add that in the centre. Now I've used circle nesting dies as an extra for this card. Now that's the insert finished. What a pretty inside. Believe me, that will match perfectly to the outside. And you might not have enough room for your writing, but you're only going to write the basis on this. And anything extra, add a note. It will stand on its own ornamental piece, trust me. So that's the inside. Now I'm going to use my bone folder again just to make sure that crease is nice and sharp on the side of our card, because we really want it to stand proud. Now the outside, the first layer I have is a layer that you're going to think, oh my word, what have you done? I've inked the layer that I've cut of white cardstock. I've inked the top half of it white and the bottom half of it black. I've then gone over it. On the black, I've used a clear heat embossing powder, and the top, I've used a white embossing powder. And I know it's not the best inking, it doesn't have to be, because it's just kind of like a shadow layer that we're going to add to our card. Now I'm going to put the black section to the bottom and the white to the top. I've cut it about 1/4 of an inch smaller than the actual size of the card. And then for my friend Edith, who doesn't think that I press firmly enough down, I'm pressing that firmly down. There we go. So that's the basis of our card. Now I'm just going to put our card to one side because now we're kind of getting to the nitty-gritty bit. I've stamped a layer and I've die cut the circle die from the snow globe. I've stamped below it just half of the actual card. It's a white layer and it's cut just a little bit smaller than the actual card itself, and about 1/4 of an inch. Now on the back of this I've got 3D foam. I've only got it around the edge, and I don't know if you remember, but Anna did some I think they're called upsell kits, where the kit extras for shakers. Now because our card is going to be a gorgeous shaker, a shaker with a difference, I'm going to use one of these, but I've kind of adapted it because I want it to fit the back of our card. So what I've done is you get the acetate and this section, if you were lucky enough to get it. I've added silver sequins, and then I've added some extra foam because I didn't want it the full size of the actual panel. I wasn't going to cut it down because I didn't want to lose the sticky edge, but I've added a row of foam and my sequins, and then I've added the extra acetate. Now mine is going to fit here, so because I want all the shaky bit in this aperture that I've cut. Don't forget, at the moment we're working from the back of the actual panel for the card. So I'm just going to peel the tape away, and I'm just going to add at the top of this, because I haven't got enough tape on it, because I wanted to show you all the extras where I've added the extra tape just to make it a little bit smaller. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue at the top there. So I'm going to take my panel and I'm going to add it just to the back of the card layer. There we go. Sorry, I was holding my breath then for a second because I want it to fit in there, and it should just slide in. There we go. And we'll just tweak that section like so. Now this panel is now going to go onto our card front. So we've added the shaker, and when I turn it over, now you can see how we've got those sequins in the aperture. And this will now fit on our card front. And I can press that down. Hope you're watching, Edith, as I press it down nice and firmly. Next, I've taken a piece of black cardstock and I cut it to the same size as our card base, and I actually ran it through the die cutting machine at the same time. I used washi tape to attach it to the white cardstock, so I knew that the aperture would be in the same place on the black cardstock as the white. I've got flat tape on the back of it, and I've stamped on top of it using the snowflake stamp and heat embossed it. I'm just turning it around so I can add it. And there we go. I've stamped on the top using a white ink pad and white heat embossing powder, stamping the snowflake from the 39 clear Christmas stamps from Anna. Next, I've taken the die cut of the actual house from the snow globe set. I've die cut it in white, and I've got just a little bit of tape on the back, and I'm going to add this into the aperture that we've already cut, like that, and I'm pressing it down. Next, I've taken the fancy circle, I've die cut it in silver satin foil from Anna. I've got tape on the back of it, and I'm just going to position this over the top of the previous layer. There we go. And I can press that down. Next, I've made some tiny shakers with glitter, and all I've done to make these is using nesting circles. I've cut the circle in black cardstock. I've cut a frame out of Anna's silver satin cardstock, and then a circle of acetate. I've added the acetate onto the circle, and then I add foam around the edge and glitter into the centre. You've seen me make shakers many a time. And I've made two small ones and a larger one. They're all stamped using the same snowflake stamps from the 39 clear stamps. I've got flat tape on the back of them, so we can add those to our card in a moment. I've also made an extra shaker. Now this is where I've stamped the sentiment joy and good cheer. I've stamped it in white and I've heat embossed it. I've made the shaker with the acetate and the foam, the normal way we make the shakers, and the shaker in the centre are the stars from the confetti die, if you can see those, in white. And then I've just made a silver edge for the top. So I'm going to add the sentiment first to our card, and I'm going to add it roughly about there, I would say. And then I can add my mini shakers to the card. One roughly about there, one there, and then a smaller one towards the bottom there. And then to finish the card off, I've got two small silver bows that I can add to the top of the shakers, and that is our card finished. And it's not a single shaker, it's not a double shaker, it's a quintet of shakers. Hope that's for 5, a quintet. I should have googled it first. So we've got the glitter in our smaller shakers for the snowflakes. We've got our stars from the confetti die for our sentiment. And then we've got our gorgeous silver sequins with our snow globe scene. How pretty is that? The inside matches perfectly with the black and white. And as you can see, it's not it's not how we normally make our card. Well, it is how we make them, but it's not our usual style. It's very different. But how gorgeous does that look? And I'm thinking now I could make those into baubles. My mind is running away with myself. I think we might have to have a project nearer Christmas where we make the snow globes and the shakers into baubles, because I can just see that. How gorgeous is that with the shakers? It stands up perfectly. It is definitely going to go on a mantelpiece. It is definitely a keeper. I think it is a special card for a special person in your life, I really do. Everything I do use, I shall put in a, well, everything I've used, I shall put in a detail list on my blog. I'll take lots of photos of this. I just hope you like it because it's a little bit different. And it's not quite the style that we normally associate with using our Anna Griffin products. But it's equally as beautiful and can soon easily be adapted as well. So please give me the fingers up. Don't give me the fingers up, give me the thumbs up. If you've liked the video, please share with your crafty friends. Please direct them to my blog or to YouTube. You can always find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. All the links are always at the end of the video. And I just hope that this has given you some ideas to be able to use your snow globe die set from Anna, because it's just such a beautiful set. And I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. I shall see you next time.